And we're live. It's the week leading into Canadian Nationals, and I am joined this week by my illustrious guests of people who won't be at Canadian Nationals.
That's accurate.
Mr. Tom Kerr, how you doing, Tom?
Cheers, everyone. Nice to be back.
And we are joined by our special guest visiting us in the absence of Jay, Mr. Aries Edge. How you doing, Aries?
Hey, I'm great. So wait a minute. So Tom is not going to be at Canadian Nationals?
No.
You guys are screwed then. It's coming right back to the United States.
We still have Devin. We
we have a younger,
Okay.
more handsome man that will take it for us.
yeah.
Most
Yeah,
modest man in HeroClix, Tom Kerr.
So Aries,
Well, he is younger.
Aries, part of the Two Clicks from KO family, as well as a man you'll see very often on Facebook Live, doing his dishes and talking HeroClix.
I do.
Yeah.
I try and do as much as I can, man.
Yeah.
And don't let his awesome camera framing fool you. He's a lot smaller in person.
Yeah, come on. I need people to think that I'm like 6'5". They're like, dude. And then you see me and I'm looking up at you. Hey, man, how you doing? And you're like, you're a tiny guy, man.
Just get a giant to walk in the room in front of you and have people go like, "Oh shit, it's Aries," and then they all look, and then you kind of peek out from behind them.
Honestly, if I
Exactly.
could dye my beard, lose the glasses, hold on a second. There we go. All right, now I walk in frnt, let the beard grow in a bit.
There you
It's
go.
like, hey, Aries. No, he's right here.
And I just pop out from behind his hip. Hey, man. Anybody got some dishes that need to be done?
I'm gonna cosplay as Aries at Worlds and just carry a bucket of dishes.
There you go. I'm going to cosplay as Puck. Because I'm about his size. So we'll just do that.
Well, back in the day, there was was it the Grid Reality that released the map, which was just like a table covered with ketchup and dishes and stuff like that. It's thematic. You could play that on everything.
Look at my Grid Reality maps now and see if I have it.
I thought that was it. I thought it was Grid Reality. Yeah, those were
Maybe.
good days.
All right, we were way off on a tangent and having a little bit of fun at the expense of our guest.
It usually happens. Any time I'm on a podcast, usually we just go straight off into left field.
it's kind of like our Patreon hangouts too. So, and me and Tom tend to tangent in weird directions too. And I don't know if we can keep Tom under control with the most recent announcement about HeroClix Worlds. So if you haven't watched the Married Lab, which we had on Sunday, which is just me and Amber babbling about it, now's a good time to find out. They have a venue announcement for Worlds. I mean, so we knew it was going to be in Memphis, and we knew we'd be walking in Memphis. I just didn't know we'd be going to Graceland.
Graceland it is, man.
In
Yeah.
Memphis, Tennessee.
I'm going to Graceland. Oh yeah, nothing but the best.
Oh man, I think it was Justin Ziran on Facebook had shared that apparently the guest house, the hotel which they're holding the event, is part of the NECA family of companies. What is going on with that company?
Oh, they're buying up everything. We're gonna have My Little Pony stuff. GI Joe was Transformers one of the ones too they bought.
For not for clixing, but apparently for like
for
sculpting.
miniatures.
Yeah, for miniatures. I think Transformers is on that list.
It's nuts. It's great for the company. Good for them. Keep doing it.
It's a strange crossover with Graceland, but I can't complain because I love Graceland. So I think it's super fun. I'm a big Elvis fan. So
Yeah, I came to a bit of a breakdown. They mentioned that there's like a Muhammad Ali museum portion out there. There's a motorcycle museum, and we 2 years ago we got a Muhammad Ali HeroClix figure. This year we got Dupe on a motorcycle. We have a conversation later on planned for the show that plans could just kind of formulate around this event. So
we got a couple different ones. We have Ghost Rider, who's usually on a motorcycle, but he's on a woolly mammoth.
Yeah,
We have Lobo on a motorcycle.
Yep.
Dupe on a motorcycle.
yeah, it's the
seeing
invasion
here.
of the hogs.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Hog Country, and
Yeah, next year they'll run nationals at Sturgis.
hey, you know what? Memphis is known for its barbecue, and Ghost Rider's on fire.
I don't think we'll ever be at Sturgis, man. I don't think.
I think
Hard
the HeroClix
to
players
concentrate.
I think
What I've seen.
it would be a survival of the 3 HeroClix players who might be able to survive it.
That's true.
All right, I don't think we need to go into great detail, but
What do we know about it in terms of when it is and stuff?
okay, so we know it's between September 6th and September 8th. Are the actual days of HeroClix play. They have set up a hotel, the Guest House. I'll actually share this information, where I'm getting this information from. right here, and I got to just change that from webcam to monitor capture so that you can see our beautiful faces down there.
Even though Aries and I don't see it.
Yeah, you guys don't.
Should have warned you in advance, Aries. We don't see it.
I know what the details are.
Yeah, all right.
Times. I got
This is mostly for the fans. I think you guys have gone over it enough times. So we know it's between the 6th and the 8th, and we've actually got a hotel block set up for this immediately.
Yes.
It's great.
Come on, $119 a night, 4 guests per room.
That's great. Like that's great anywhere.
Deal.
What's that?
I said that's an amazing deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great deal anywhere, let alone like at a quasi
At
resort.
Graceland.
Let alone at Graceland, at Memphis. It's all brand new facility.
Yeah.
On top of the fact, what is the other one? The $49 deal where you get a free ticket into, I forget what it is. You get a free ticket.
You get a Battle Royale pass. You get a tour.
That's what it was, the tour.
Yeah.
Then you get 3 LEs. You get the Raven Bombshell. You get
Storm.
the Storm. And then you get
from
one from last year.
Yeah, they're really making up for lost time to a certain extent with massive hype.
Absolutely. And one of the things that's really cool about this is that is specifically for people who stay at the hotel. You cannot get that $49 pass without staying at the hotel. So it's incentive, and like Aries said, $120 a night. You put 4 people in a room, that's $120 per person.
4 days, absolutely.
Yeah, because the hotel block doesn't just cover the 3 days of the tournament; it also covers the other days that you're not at the tournament. Like, so we're all gonna come in on the Thursday, so we can get a good night's sleep going in Friday, and we're all gonna leave on Monday, so just in case we get stuck on Sunday somehow.
Yep.
And the hotel is the block all covers that, and that's awesome. That's just amazing.
That's a great deal. Plus, everything's in walking distance.
Yeah.
You don't have to, like, people are saying, oh, it's in a bad area, this or that. Okay, cool. You're walking 100 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on top of it, it's just for us. It's just HeroClix. It's 100% for us.
Yeah.
You don't have to buy a pass. You don't have to wait in lines to do stuff. It's from what they say 10 a.m. until like 10 p.m.
10 to 10 Friday and Saturday, and then 10 to 3 on Sunday.
3. So you have all day too. So you're not like bookended like we were in Philadelphia, where you had to stick to a strict schedule and so on and so forth.
Right.
I think it's gonna be great. This is gonna be, and if we behave ourselves, maybe we'll be able to do this for a long time coming.
Why did you look at me like that?
No. I'm just saying, hey, how about maybe not like some naked, like, cannonballs in the pool? Maybe we don't get so drunk we puke all over the place. Maybe we act a little respectable.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll want us back.
Sure. I'm sure that could happen for some. No,
Directly at the shots fired, guys.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I'm looking at you, Jamie Jordan. Looking at you, DJ Riggin. Hold your liquor.
Juggernaut rocking through the place.
I'm just going to mark the calendar. It was July 16th or 15th, is it? July 15th.
July
The first online beef for Married with Clicks. All right, cool.
Yep, the Meta Labs shooting at shots fired.
no longer the nicest people on the internet.
Yeah. What did those Canadians do? It brought Austin Aries and Aries Edge, and they all of a sudden
Austin Aries.
You got wrestling on the brain, eh?
I wish I had the physique of Austin Aries. I'm probably the same height.
Step 1, stop the meat.
That's it. You got to become a vegan.
You got to become vegan. There's also, in addition to the information that we got for the event, WizKids on WizKidsGames.com posted an FAQ, so that if there's a lot of lingering questions that you might not have answered from the article. They're right here. Do you need a badge? No.
Right.
What's in the swag bag? What Aries just described is in there is as part of that. What if I don't play HeroClix? Well, you can use your free entry into a Battle Royale. Go play some Dice Masters and some Attack Wing. I'm sorry you play those.
Yeah, actually, is that true? Are they doing the Worlds of all 3?
Yes.
They're together, yeah.
Yep. Attack Wing, Dice Masters, and Clicks.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, there's a question of, my friend is booking. How do I get added? All the names of the guests in the hotel room is part of entering into the hotel. So it's all there. Is there on-site parking? Yes. $10 for standard vehicles, $15 if you have some kind of oversized monstrosity.
And if you're staying, I think if you're staying there, it's $5
It's
a day,
$5 per day,
and then
your
$10
hotel.
for a bigger. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's the best parking deal you're gonna find in Memphis,
Yeah,
Yeah, no
hands
kidding.
down.
and is Wi-Fi included? $13.25 resort fee covers that as well as like access to, I believe there might be a gym or pool or stuff like that.
There is a pool, from what I understand.
Yeah.
I don't know about the gym, but a lot of us, I don't think we're going to be spending time in the gym.
No.
Yeah. No, wait, is that the place where you go to buy booze and have nachos
no,
after
that's
the match?
the liquor store. I had to get that figured out.
All right. So, yeah.
That's a Canadian nomenclature. The gym.
Right.
As in, I'm going to gyms.
Right. Yeah.
He's got the Molson.
Got that Molson export, and we don't even need to export it.
Oh, that blue is flowing.
In and out almost as quick.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, jeez.
If I wanted water, I'd ask for water.
Oh, nonsense.
And I
Every
keep
beer.
comics because
Yep. Every beer has a place in this world, as far as I'm concerned.
What are you drinking, by the way, Tom?
This I don't know what it's called because it's in Belgian, but it's a Belgian sour. It's an oak aged sour. That's a very popular thing in Toronto right now. I just assume it's a popular thing in the beer market in general. It's a big Belgian sour thing going on. So
Yeah, it's like the after NBA championship drink. Is that what
Yeah.
I'm sipping on?
yeah, exactly.
The Belgian sour is the taste we have in our left now that Kawhi is leaving.
Hey, you got your championship. Just be happy with it. You got
Exactly.
your one.
He's gonna go get the next team one now. Everybody gets one now, right?
Yeah, let's see, if Toronto's history of sports teams winning continues as it is, then what'll it be? Another 27 years? So what'll that be? 56?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
I don't see the Blue Jays doing much.
Nope.
You know what? The Blue Jays
Yep.
are an anomaly. They did it twice in a row.
Joe Carter.
Yeah. Back to back. Oh, that
Both
was
times.
just the best. I mean, well, the first one they just kind of won, right? But the home run heard around the world, or at
Absolutely.
least
The Joe
around the
Carter
city.
walk off. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Incredible.
The Joe Carter jump became a dance for a bit.
Oh yeah. The no helmet, jumping over, going to second base. Absolutely.
Oh, such a great moment.
All right. Speaking of moments that some of us weren't present for, this weekend
That's a championship segue right
there was
there.
a WKO in Ottawa, and our absent member Jay, spoiler alert, won the event. He was in presence along with our teammate Emily, and Devin was also there. Devin was playing. I'm guessing Devin was either super experimental or failing his rollouts because he didn't do so well in this event.
I think it was his rollouts, he said, and I mean, like he's tweaking, right? He's got his mind on what's coming next. So
Yeah, he's got some kind of monstrosity. But we do have the top 4 teams from this event. In 4th place was played by Dan Smith. I'll actually show this on screen because it's fair to everybody.
And it's worth noting for anybody who doesn't know Canadian geography, first of all, what's wrong with you? But second of all, this
Most
was
of it's white, I understand.
the reason this is somewhat relevant is not only the fact that it's a WKO leading in towards Canadian Nationals, but it was also in Ottawa, which is about a 2-hour drive from Canadian Nationals.
Yeah.
So a lot of what was there will be there for sure at Canadian Nationals, and several people that were there will be coming across as well. And so you can probably expect to see, I don't know how many people are going to change their teams with a week out, so you may expect to see these teams and teams like these. And anyway, you'll see a theme with what else has been out there lately. So.
Yeah. So first up, we have Dan Smith playing a Kobik-based team. So we've got Kobik with the Haim Kobik trait. Veers off immediately with Green Arrow. Playing a Trader with the Bear of the Infinity Gem trait. Mr. Oz with a Soul Gem on the board. He's got 2 points spent on the Mace. And 3 ID cards, including the Jean Grace.
3 points in ID card. 1 ID card.
ID card. Sorry, and it's a Jean Grey student ID card. I read that wrong.
Yeah. What do you think of that?
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the splash of the Green Arrow in there with the Mr. Oz. I was going to throw him, get him right into there. I mean, people are going crazy over Kobik, and I mentioned this before. I don't think it's so much Kobik that is. I mean, Kobik is great, but Trader is what pushes her, I think, over the edge, flip-flopping out the cube and being able to hit that twice to lock down a figure. The Trader, Kobik is great by herself, don't get me wrong. The Trader makes her fantastic.
Yeah.
They complement each other very well.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that. Go ahead.
Well, and you've got that upfront perplex on Trader and upfront perplex on Kobik and
Mhm.
the extension from Mr. Oz. So Mr. Oz alone plus Green Arrow with his sidestep is giving you an 18 swing. So you're starting in row 2, you're hitting row 20. With
Mhm.
the advent of the perplexes, you're hitting row 22. So it's not like you've got to kind of choose a restrictive map, and if you're choosing a restrictive map, then Kobik kind of loves that too, because Kobik and Trader can pop around, disrupt your team, and you're just waiting because that Green Arrow is just an assassin. I know it's a hard play sometimes, but at this point, I like the fact that you just abandoned the theme for it too, because frankly, if you're going to get a plus these days, a +3 or 4 theme is almost immaterial with the +7s, 8s, 9s that are going around. So
Absolutely.
if you can go better off theme, then by all means, more power to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 or 4 is going to help you against an Avengers theme team or a Cosmic theme team that's already getting 4 on top of your 3. So,
Right.
yeah, just abandon it, play something that you know is going to gel well and you have a good idea of what you're going to do with it, and then just hope you can maneuver around. But yeah, I mean, people aren't going to be super aggressive against that either because they're not going to want to come in and have Green Arrow. Green Arrow's the gatekeeper.
Right.
You want to come around and try and get my Kobik or my Trader, you're going to have to come through Green Arrow. You're going to have to sacrifice something to get something.
Yeah.
I wonder where the soul gem was going on this team. I mean, considering the fact that Trader is starting with something, I can only assume Arrow.
Well, Trader and Kobik both start with something, so it's got to go on Green Arrow because I don't think Mr. Oz is getting a soul gem anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing you could do is equip the soul gem and then do a trade, right? Like, so if you really wanted to have an infinity gem on Green Arrow, then you could equip a different gem. I don't know. I actually don't know because then the soul gem is a gem anyway, so who knows?
I'm
Probably,
guessing, yeah, like I said, I'm guessing Arrow. It's probably to keep him alive a little longer. He can hit from range,
Right.
keep himself healing.
Yeah.
So if I had to guess, I would say it was probably on Arrow.
I mean,
Yeah.
and it's multi-dimensional if you think about the fact that Green Arrow's in a bad place when he's in close combat, but you just pop him out of close combat, and now he's not in a bad place if you get to a situation where you can pass the Cosmic Cube onto him. Because
Yep.
Trader will get the Cosmic Cube at some point, and he's in trouble. Let's get him out of trouble.
Yep. For that matter, yeah, you put the Cosmic Cube onto Green Arrow, and suddenly, plus his sidestep, he's now going 5 plus his own unbelievable range. I love that Green Arrow so much. He's still one of my favorite pieces ever made.
He's
Absolutely.
really
I was ecstatic. I didn't get to pull it though. My fiance, as you guys probably saw in my live video when I was opening up boosters, I opened up 2 out of a case, and she just completely mashed her way through an entire case. Is this good? Is this good? So, but yeah, that was one of the ones that came out of my Elseworlds case. So I was
That's
happy to
awesome.
pull that. This guy's got 1 arm. Is he broken? No. Actually, he is broken. People are not going to see it.
He's no good. Just to toss him aside.
All right. Moving on to third place, we know her, Emily,
Mhm.
packing a Lockjaw, Unseen, the Vulture, Groot, 3 Big Tonys, Doc Ock's arms, a Venom harness, a Remaker ring, and she spent 21 points in ID cards, including a Harley Quinn ID, a Wolverine wanted poster, a Cyclops faculty and student, and a Jean Grey student. This is what Vulture do.
Yeah.
It's a Vulture team.
Yeah.
You
You're
bet.
just gonna bump it with Big Tony. You're gonna drop Harley Quinn in there to get another +2 on something, and you're gonna try and just eat the entire map.
Yeah.
I mean, what's kind of nice about this particular version, she's been playing variations on this for a little while now, so we've got a chance to know it pretty well locally. And the thing that is not immediately obvious necessarily, although we've seen it enough times now, it seems that way, is that half of its math is basically a point denial call-in team, right? Because you've got Unseen with the Remaker is now rollout king, and he's hard to target in the first place, and Lockjaw is just hard to KO from inception unless you've got some kind of tricks, and even those are not always easy to pull off. So with those 2 plus all the ID cards, you've got 150-ish points of your team that are just point denial, being annoying, and she doesn't need to Vulture on turn 2. If she can do it, then great. If she doesn't have the opportunity to do it, it's not that bad. And the Venom harness is an interesting thing to have in place of the old gas canister. If there's a lot of shape change out there, maybe it's more worth it to get the bonuses and the Battle Fury than it is to get the Flurry from the arms. It's
Yeah,
smart thinking, I think.
Yeah.
it gives you options. Absolutely gives you options. If someone's playing a super shape change heavy team, then you throw the Venom harness on, and then you get to go in with that. If not, then obviously, yeah, you get the octopus arms.
Or if they're playing a collector, I mean, collector can only equip one
Mhm.
thing. So you got two good things, and they take away one, then you've got something else.
Absolutely, you have options. You're giving yourself a lot of options on that. Also, sneaky too with the lockjaw too is if you need to, he can pick telekinesis and then throw Vulture out there, or
Right.
also he can pick TK to pull back an object right away, get you going and get you equipped. Sneaky little play there. On top of
Yeah.
the fact that lockjaw is just a great utility piece.
Well, in that way, you've got you're using your Harley for your call in to get the extra bonuses as opposed to needing to do a Jean Grey. But if Jean Grey's better, she's got that
Mhm.
too. So
Yeah.
lots of options.
Yeah, Emily's been refining this for so long. It's actually getting a little scary, the fact that Emily is piloting this on the way to Canadian Nationals, and I'm
Yeah,
terrified.
she knows her way.
All right, next up in second place, Asia Besler. She's got a Possessor. It's a +5 cosmic theme. I may be pronouncing it wrong. Astronomer with the bear. So both Possessor and Astronomer with Bearer of the Infinity Gems.
And speaking of that,
Trader with the Bearer of the Infinity Gem. Mr. Oz, Groot, and 10 points spent on ID cards for Poison Ivy and Wolverine. She's got 3 heavy objects, a sideline of the. That's the Batman set 4 Ivy, and of course our friend, the super rare Wolverine. Hawkman, Trouble Alert, Metal Arena, and the Great Mound are her maps. Great Mound is just Astronomer's playground.
yeah,
Metal
the
Arena is
case.
pretty good for him too. I mean, when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
It's a great team. One of the things about this team as well is Possessor, fully capable of taking those power cosmic guys that we are all annoyed by and wanting to outwit, and says, "Okay, I'll outwit them."
Yeah, it's like the third rarely talked about option on that little tripod because Chase Thanos gets talked about quite a bit, and or Ultra Chase Thanos, I guess it is. He perplexes down and then takes away Power Cosmic, and Kobik, he takes away Power Cosmic. Possessor doesn't take away Power Cosmic, but does allow you to outwit Power Cosmic characters. So you kind of get there in a sneaky way on its own, and I think Possessor's quite good. It doesn't get as much respect as perhaps she should, but she's pretty awesome. I like this version more than I would like it if she swapped out for a second Astronomer, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good cosmic theme team. It's nice to see a different kind of cosmic theme team making some waves. You don't just see the same Unimind, this, that, or whatever. It's nice to see. Again, we've talked about it before. This is probably one of the most wide open competitive plays that we've seen in a long time. Where top 4, we don't see a single Unimind team. We don't see a lot of the staples that we have been seeing before. So I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot. I'm surprised, and this is what I will say. I'm surprised we're not seeing a lot of the Prime Black Widow out there too.
Yeah, I wonder. It's hard. It's not that hard to build theme around her.
She can just take away.
Yeah,
I can see her on. If someone starts piling, I can see her on like a Medusa Alpha Strike team, get in play, and then let the living hairs just chew through someone's defense.
Yeah,
but I enjoy this cosmic team.
Although she's not
Avengers. Big waves. What's that?
I don't think she's Avengers, the Prime Black Widow.
No, she's AIM.
She's AIM, right? Yeah. True. There was I don't have the build, but there was an AIM theme team in the top 8, so it's possible that was on there. If you're going to go AIM theme team, that seems like the best reason to do it, as opposed to Avengers, since so many of them share. So we didn't get the full top 8, but I know it was there.
I think I'll double check to see if it was included in Jay's little write up there that he sent me. All right, but
sure.
Speaking
of,
in first place, Jay packing a Kobik with I am Kobik, Unseen, a Traitor, Groot, 2 Flora Colossals, a Suited Henchman, a Remaker Ring, and 20 points spent. Elvis got filled up with stuff. 20 points spent on ID cards, including Harley Quinn, a Student Cyclops, a Student Jean Grey, a Student Iceman, a Student Rusty, and an all-new Wolverine, which is a Student ID card. It's maximizing the amount of points spent, or rather maximizing the amount of ID cards over the points and worrying about the call-in abilities. 2 light objects, and his sideline is, of course, the Title Harley, Super Rare Cyclops, the Chase Iceman, as well as the Fast Forces Iceman, the Chase Jean Grey, the Fast Force Rusty, the regular Rusty, and one all-new Wolverine that we do have for the team. Yeah. It's a team. I mean,
it's Kobik again.
It's a take on the Kobik team we've kind of already seen. A lot of people have been talking about, including the Unseen in this combination. Once you get Kobik taking away team abilities, add Unseen's Outwit, it just speeds up the process of dying.
Yeah, it's you take away, you flip flop the team abilities, you call in something with Unseen, you Outwit, and then you just start to shred through stuff. It's Kobik is great, but the trader is also then locking down someone's figures. They're gonna if people might be able to get the Kobik to work very well, but if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it with trader. Trader is gonna be the one to help you along the way.
Right.
I mean, it's definitely the zeitgeist of the moment. I mean, when you looked at, if you look over at the Majestic's site, then they've also posted, WKO winners within the first couple weeks, and it's worth noting. Like, I was looking through them. If you take the one from Ottawa and you combine it with these, you've got and you remove anything that won pre-rotation and was very reliant on pre-rotation pieces like shredders and stuff.
Yeah,
You're basically only left with 7 winning teams, and 5 of those 7 teams are Kobik Trader.
Yep.
No, wait, 4 of them are Kobik Trader. 1 of them is Kobik Lord Chaos Master Order.
Yeah.
But it's a lot. It's in fact so ubiquitous that I wonder, is that what we can expect next weekend? Canadian Nationals coming up. Is everyone just going to jump on that bandwagon at this point? Who owns one? Or
I'm not, if that counts for anything. And it's it's funny. I've actually, going into this week being the problem, the team I was going to play can't win anything. Like, I've had about 30 practice games with it, and not a single one has come out with a win. I think it's time to give up on it.
Or just start tweaking.
Well, I've tweaked it into not working anymore as well. It's like,
perfect.
It's
You've made it worse, progressively worse.
Yeah.
I've just tweaked it to where I threw it against the wall and was like, "See you later. I'm just gonna leave you there."
I tweaked it so much that I tweaked.
I tried tearing all of the arms off, but then they don't shoot like Green Arrow, so it's just not the same.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Hawkeye, you have one arm now. Do things.
So does that mean, Jason, that you are going to go into Canadian Nationals largely unpracticed again?
No, I'm not going to call it unpracticed. I am revamping a team I have played in the past. It is monstrous.
I understand.
Subtle. I'm bringing
Very
them back.
subtle.
I'm bringing them back.
Very subtle.
I'm taking a little bit of inspiration from Tyler Spees. I'm doing a little bit of my own stuff with it, and I'm kind of feeling I'm feeling better about that than anything else, because honestly, I think I'm more practiced playing with that particular build in general than anything else, and I accept where my losses are. Hi, Emily.
Still, the point stands. I mean, obviously, not everyone's going to do the same thing, but I just wonder, it just feels to me like the more that Kobik is winning, the more people are going to want to just jump on the bandwagon, whether they know what to do with it or not. And It seems it's a fairly forgiving team. You got all those rollouts, you got high defenses, and honestly, feels like you can make a few play errors and probably still sneak by. But is that just me? I mean, is that not true?
Yeah. Well,
I mean, maybe, but I think there are going to be some guys that are going to be out there, people that are going to be out there that are going to start seeing the trend and be like, okay, what do I have to play then to counter a hard counter for that? For me personally, I've been flirting around with mystical teams just to try and put 25-point King Britain in there, Captain Britain in there.
Oh, what does he do?
Anytime someone were to be given, give you an action token.
Oh, right.
He gets to roll out on a 3 through 6. I don't get the action token.
That's pretty good.
That's what it is. So you put that on a mystical team. You add that with like Daredevil with the Venom Harness. You go ahead and put some Tri-Sentinels out there. Maybe a Black Adam, Sheriff Strange to shut down some ID calling. Mystical could throw a wrench in the works playing against some Kobik teams.
That's good. That's a good effect. Is that King Britain effect like just across the map, or is it within X squares or something?
Let me look them up real fast.
Friendly character I got it right here.
There you
if
go.
an opposing effect would cause a friendly character to be given an action token, roll a d6 on a 3 to 6. The friendly character does not get that action token. And this is the Fast Forces King Britain.
25 points.
Yeah, 25 points you get this effect.
Good pull,
or
Aries. Well done.
If you're looking for that extra 3 clicks with leadership, you could pay 50 for it. But 25 seems fine.
He's gonna be one of those guys that's a geek. He's gonna hang out in the back. I think he can add some damage. I think he has 3 damage with close combat expert, maybe.
Close combat expert. Yep.
That's what it was. Okay, so he can do some late game damage if need be. If you've already gotten like Traitor or Kobik off the map, and you don't have to worry about the bounce around between the two of them, most likely you're gonna try and get Traitor off. Then you can go ahead and open up your offense, and you can kind of maybe get him out there to do a little more than just take away the action tokens. So I like I said, I like Mystical. I'm kind of flirting with some Mystical stuff right now.
Yeah.
That's a good call. I mean, the other thing about Traitor, of course, that it's so easy to forget this because you sort of associate pieces with the thing they do. So I think Traitor, and I think, well, trading objects, keeping in mind that is a special power, not a trait. And if you can just deal them a little bit of damage, you can take that away from them. Like Kobik and Traitor, that is the thing about them, is that they're both very reliant on staying on a couple or 3 specific clicks. You don't even really need to KO them to really disrupt the functionality of that team. You just need to get some damage out.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think it's 2 clicks. If you deal 2 clicks of damage to Traitor, you get him off of that special fist power.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that true when he starts on click 0 too?
That's specifically when he starts on click 0. I think it's only 1 click of damage you have to deal with him if he does start on click 0.
Yes.
Which is
Which
part of why
always
I'm considering my other team, because you get no click 0s on my team.
I can't imagine
it's
a world in which that's
tailored
worth it.
that way. That was kind of the thing. It was like, I didn't tailor it that way. It just happened. So, all right. That's
So is this going to be the year that Canadian finally wins then?
No.
Well, no. Devin's Canadian, right?
No.
Yeah. It turns out that he's not.
Yeah.
Devin wins, and we all celebrate, and then he shows his citizenship. And
Yeah, he's like, I'm actually American, guys.
He's from
I just got my
Missouri.
green card. I have a working visa to go to the United States.
In fact, he's Aries' kid. That's the truth.
That's what it is. Yeah, but he's way taller than me. So.
Well, he got it from the other
That's why
side of
no
the
one
family, right?
suspects. Yeah.
Exactly. But I mean, PJ Bolin is not going to be there, so he's not defending his Canadian national championship.
That's true.
Congrats on your little kid, though, PJ.
Absolutely, congrats.
Yes,
Everyone's having a kid. DJ Ridley is
actually
having
happened?
a kid.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Congratulations.
But I know who's
4
making
points.
it up there from
4 points
push.
is coming up. At least Ed and Isaac. I mean, Ed was. I hope Isaac anyway. Ed was saying that he was planning on making it when we were talking at US Nats, and he was saying that he was going to, get Isaac at a camp or something. So that's
No,
cool.
Ed and Isaac are making it up.
I heard Scott's coming, too.
Is he? That's
Yep.
exciting.
I mean, he
Yep.
was talking about jumping in a hotel room with somebody, so.
From pushing, you have Kenji Kenishiro. I think you have Abdul. So Abdul didn't get to do his United States Nationals. He didn't get to go to that one. So I have a feeling he's going to come in full effect for Canadian Nationals. I think Jason is also coming.
Yep.
And Tim Traster from Pushing are coming. So
And I know
awesome.
Nate White is going to come up, too.
Boo.
Yeah.
I think
Listen,
it's okay.
When you hear from a couple tables away, plus 19, then that's what you'll know that Nate was right.
So I mean, got a lot of good people who are going to be making a run for it.
Yeah.
And Kenji, I think, has already won it once.
Kenji's
Yep.
won it once, yep.
So I mean,
I look back the year Kenji won when he was the team he was playing against in Ted's team with the Guy Gardner. I kind of want the Guy Gardner right now to deal with Kobik because that Guy Gardner had Battle Fury and Precision Strike.
yeah, Ted from Pushing. He was a big Guy Gardner fan.
Yeah.
Big time.
What are our past winners? Nick won it a few years back,
Nick
right?
Peterson was the first one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is he coming up with? Are any of those guys coming up?
I know Patricia is, but I don't think Nick could get the time off for this one.
Okay.
Next was Kenny Pena. I will call conflict of interest if he shows up.
He was saying he's going to try to make it. Like obviously not to play, but
Then we have Kenji, the third winner, and
Mhm.
then fourth winner
Ad-
would have been Adam Cole.
Yep.
Bay.
Bay Bay.
And then last year was won by PJ.
PJ Bolin.
Yep.
Hmm.
So
All not Canadian.
yeah,
Yes.
we get it.
They're
Well,
border
look,
hoppers.
Adam's from Detroit and parts of Detroit that are close enough.
It doesn't
Oh, I
count.
mean,
And if any of them had to, like, why does Adam have to be the one that we get? It was our honorary.
He's the most polite American I've met.
yeah.
It's true. He's a good guy.
He's great.
But
people.
we need an actual Canadian to win. An
know.
actual real one. Jason.
Tom Kerr, you are our only
Dude,
hope.
I got an actual
I-
hard job to do and 3 kids.
Help
Why
me,
is it all on
Obi-Wan
me?
Kerr.
I don't have
I
time to
know.
practice.
It's the worst. I'm with kids, like not tiny kids, but my niece and nephew are doing their joint birthday party on that weekend. And it's like the one time my whole family gets together in the summer. It's a
You know what's
bring
great
them
for a
with
kid's
you.
birthday party? Montreal.
Absolutely. Bring them with you. Oh, yeah. I heard Montreal is very family friendly.
maybe I can coerce them into HeroClix. My nephew's a big chess guy. He can beat me pretty consistently at chess, and he's like 7.
Oh,
And
So
he's
he-
Canadian, right?
Yes, yeah.
Just checking.
there you go.
Hey man,
Mhm.
Isaac won a Rock World Cup, right?
Oh, Isaac's credentials are well established.
Along with the
Isaac-
U.S. Nationals, along with
I think Isaac's credentials are better than all of ours put together.
Oh yeah, I
mean,
think so.
And, is
Well-
he just getting into like high school or something? Like,
Yeah.
where is he?
I
Not
just-
that it
I
matters
could-
for anything, but Tom is a 2-time Rock Canada Cup winner.
Again, that's cool. That's the one that we've actually won.
Yeah.
That's the Canadian Championship that a Canadian has his name on the
The
trophy.
one that doesn't exist anymore.
Oh no, that's true, isn't it?
So
Because the U.S. guys are like, do you really want to go?
I think you're actually the last Rock Canada Cup winner now.
Wow, that's awesome.
And
I can-
reigning,
Yeah.
defending.
I have 67% of the Rock Canadian Championships.
Here you
You
go.
retired
Here you go,
it.
Tom. You have your own Paul Heyman in me now.
Yeah.
Did you get to make a map for that?
Oh no. I didn't get to make anything, but I did get to I got to make it to Rock Worlds, which is fun, and then I came second and won money, so that was cool.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. All right. With my little 2 wrestling inserts
right, you were-
in there, and
you
I
were
gotta
trying
find
another
a way
power
to
segue. Yeah.
us into our next thing. So me and Tom have done this before on the show. We've played a little pretend, and in light of HeroClix being in Memphis, we decided that today would be a good chance to play pretend on theme. So we're going to. Tom and I have designed our own false little dial designs for Rhythm and Blues. For those of you who are not old school WWF fans, or before it was
No,
Get
they
the
were
F Out.
WWF. We can say WWF.
We can say
'cause they were not
WWF.
WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was before way before the Get the F Out thing.
It was back when it was wrestling
Yeah.
and it wasn't sports entertainment.
That's right.
Rhythm and Blues was a kind of Elvis Memphis music themed tag team consisting of the Honky Tonk Man and Greg the Hammer Valentine, managed by Jimmy Hart, the Mouth of the South Hart.
Mouth of the South,
The Mouth
Jimmy
of the South.
Hart.
Jimmy
That
Hart,
is
baby.
That is. A
I
hard,
just don't. I still don't understand how Greg the Hammer Valentine snuck his way into that. It's like,
he was part of the Hart stable, and he never had a gimmick. So they're like, why don't you dye
No.
your blonde hair black, and we'll call you an Elvis impersonator too. And he just kind of
yeah,
went
we'll
along.
dress you up. You're just gonna do the same moves.
Yeah,
I'll slide you a guitar every once in a while. We'll call it a day.
a lot of axe handles, a lot of
Bionic elbows.
Yep.
Speaking of which, before we get into this, I've never been a Honky Tonk Man fan. I am even less of a Honky Tonk Man fan now because I had to do a little research and had to pull some matches and be like, okay, I got to pull some kind of inspiration. Even Macho Man couldn't pull him into a good match.
Your standards are too high. You're a modern wrestling fan to too great an extent.
No, because I still put Macho Man and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat as one of the best matches ever, along with Ricky
absolutely.
Steamboat
It
and
is.
Ric Flair. And Macho Man
yep.
could pulled a good match once out of the Ultimate Warrior, a long match out of the Ultimate Warrior. I want to point out too.
That was a very good. That was the best Honky Tonk Man match right there. Was when he the
Yeah.
squash match with the Warrior.
Yeah.
That was it.
It's like, oh, thank God, it's finally over. Well,
Yeah,
that
it
was
was
the beauty
months
of it.
and months coming.
Yeah.
Well, he
was-
had the IC title for like what 75 years,
and I don't think he won a single match with it.
that was the greatest part about him.
Yeah.
Is everybody hate? He was
Yeah.
he was a
Classic heat.
heel. He was the heel on top of all heels.
He had the
People
Dollarama
hated
heat, man.
him. Hated him, and that was the best part about him.
Right.
He would get DQ'd on purpose because he knew he would hang on to the title, count him out. He wouldn't care, man. He was. People need to start looking back at old wrestling to become better heels because they had some of the greatest heels
Yeah.
of all time. I'm a big wrestling nerd, if you couldn't notice.
You're in good company.
Yeah, and like
Ah.
it was because that was it was a great place on the card, right? And it was also a period when you had the face champion for so much time. It was Hogan mostly. When Macho Man was there, he was a face for most of his time as the champion
Absolutely.
before they killed him. So you had that guy that was ending out the night on a high note consistently. So you needed something in the middle of the card to keep you unsatisfied, so that you had
You
something
needed
to
a
redeem.
reason to be happy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you're also you're around the same era where like the heels were like the model Rick Martel, like those guys are horrible. They were
Right.
bad guys, but they were horrible. The $1 Million Man, great heel.
Amazing. One
$1
of the
Million
best.
Man. So you had like top tier heels and then really bad heels. Irving R. Shyster.
Yeah.
Oh,
Horrible.
in the
Exactly.
90s now. Oh, poor Mike.
Horrible.
Sunda. Him and his kids.
Just
And-
that. Oh yeah.
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 There was the undercard was hard to tell too because there were faces like rugged Ronnie Garvin. We're like, is he a face? He doesn't seem to have any personality whatsoever.
He's got as much a personality as like a wet paper bag. It's just bad.
And so in the middle of it all, you've got this guy who's dressed up like Elvis and he's shaking his hips and he's constantly getting wobbly legs and beaten down, but he never gets the pin.
And he
It's
just
great.
hates on your hometown. He comes out there and says that you're all ugly and like
Yeah.
out of shape and I've never been to a worse place. Just that
It's-
cheap heat.
It's Elias, right? It's the
It's-
Elias gimmick. It's just
It's
Absolutely.
Elias and SCU.
SCU. We had a lot of wrestling this weekend too between
Yeah. Oh,
AEW,
dude, like
Evolve.
I had to play catch up. Like the G1 had matches, like the
Yep.
New Japan. You had Fight for the Fallen for AEW. You had WWE with Extreme Rules. You had
Yeah.
Evolve on the
Evolve.
WWE network.
with Matt Riddle versus who was it, Drew Gulak?
Yeah.
Ugh, like
Was-
that's
Oh man, what a good.
It's a great- It's a good time to be alive and be a fan.
Yeah, if you're a wrestling, now is the best time to either be or become a wrestling fan.
True.
well because the WWE is not stale anymore. They're not having to. They're not the only kid on the block.
Yeah.
Right.
Everything's being pushed, and that's
Yeah.
great.
I mean, even Impact is getting better.
Who?
Easy.
Who's even still there?
What's that?
Who's even still there?
They still got Moose because I don't think he's ever leaving them.
In Abyss?
No, Abyss retired a little while ago. That guy's old now. They have Rich Swann still. Sammy Callahan and OVE are still there.
The knockout stuff is still all right.
Yeah, they're not going
Sammy
stuff.
Callahan's good.
Jordan
Okay,
Grace
I'll give
is
you-
killing it there.
Rich Swann is just a WWE reject that went there
Yeah, I mean,
because he ended up beating up his wife or something.
Well,
Oh, no, it was
he-
false imprisonment.
he got into an argument with her and she's like, "Get back in the car. We're in the middle of the road." I don't know. They both work for the same company still because Sue Young is there too because that's his wife.
Yep.
So,
I don't know. It's I don't know. It's
That's rough.
weird. It's
mean,
weird.
but they also just pulled up Josh Alexander, who's a local guy, wrestles for Destiny around here, and he's something else. He's the sight to see. Anyway, done with that.
Whoa, one more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did anybody see the video where Enzo tried to fight Janela?
Oh, you mean Joey Janela gave him a handshake, and then they both raised hands like they were gonna fight, and then it's like, nah, whatever.
Joey Janela still wants to fight him.
Really?
Absolutely. Enzo went on, and then I actually saw the video, and it was like, you're going to get knocked out, Enzo, again. And then
Yeah.
it won't be the bottom rope doing it.
Yeah, it won't be your fault.
Exactly. It won't be you taking a bad bump with your stupid
You know
hit.
what?
I actually like them, too. Ugh.
For the longest time before we get into our dials, I've been able to avoid the Simon Koch Barry's Enzo Amore video because I'd watched it, and it no
Oh.
longer showed up in my feed. And then that fight with Joey Janela shows up, and what's back in my feed?
Iron Gotch, Barry, and Enzo.
It's an awesome video. And you're right. It's ubiquitous. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
It follows you.
Okay, here we go. So,
All right.
from Rhythm and Blues, we're going to start with Tom's dial with
Sure.
Greg the Hammer Valentine himself. I also
He looks like the chick. He looks like the lady from the Goonies, by the way.
he does. He
He
looks,
looks like Mama Fratelli.
he looks like my grandmother with before she passed away with
Stay to the right.
I like how you say before she passed away, just to be clear.
Well, I mean, she had a mullet too, so
I only
Right.
once or maybe twice.
I wasn't aware that was fatal, but
you know what? Greg's still there, so it's got to be good for something.
uh,
Sorry, I had
I
to
guess.
get that out there. I don't wear a hairpiece.
All right, Tom, what do you got for Mr. Valentine?
Oh, sure. You want me to go
Take
over
us
it? All
through
right.
your design, sir.
Sure. Pretty straightforward stuff. I mean, I'm assuming that all the WWE guys are going to get the WWE team ability. I'm also
Yes.
assuming that they're all going to have some variation on the signature move trait. And past that, I presume they're all going to have the orange click numbers at the end where you can do the pin thing, because otherwise, that would be a useless mechanic if they didn't all have it. So, with those in mind, this is a very straightforward little dial, but hey, it was a fun little exercise when we were geeking out over going to Memphis.
Yeah.
So I figured Greg Valentine is not known for very much besides fairly rugged and unsophisticated offense and generally being kind of tough. So that's why you've got a whole dial of toughness with some upfront invulnerability just to help him take a few licks on his way. He very often did have bits and pieces at the ends of his matches where if things were not going well, he would just start flailing away, which is why you've got some end dial flurry with low attack, but some steel energy to get back in the fight if he's able to land the hits. The round power on attack is the stun power, which is very appropriate for a man who does nothing but throws axe handles and bionic elbows.
Not right.
And then just some upfront charge to get in there, some sidestep to not allow people to get too far away, but also, he's a bit gassed, so he can't really charge anymore. And some close combat expert in the middle to make up for low defenses, so at least he can always crack invulnerability if he needs to. And his one affectation, he was one of the many people who helped make the figure four leg lock famous. I mean, certainly he's not at the top of that list, but he's on it. And so I would be interested to see how they're going to do submission holds when the time comes to do them. It feels like there's always an inclination to make them a little bit the same. So what I decided to go with it was, as with Macho Man's, his is a close attack if his opponent has one action token. Or sorry, if he has one action token, I should say. Make a close attack using Precision Strike. Modifying damage +1 if the target has one or more action tokens. So if they're a bit exhausted, then you can do a little bit more. You can lock it in a little bit more succinctly. And then until your next turn, while adjacent to Greg the Hammer Valentine, the hit target modifies speed -2, gets breakaway -2, and cannot be placed. So they have to break away from the hold. They modify speed -2. They don't get immobile or anything because, frankly, people scatter all over the place when they're in a figure four leg lock, but not quite at full speed. And it helps just lock them down. Pretty straightforward other than that. What you see is what you get. We went for 75 points, and that's it.
Yeah. What do you think of this one, Aries?
It's a great dial. I mean, he hit it on the head. And he explained it all out, too.
Yeah.
The guy, he wasn't a finesse wrestler.
No.
He was never in the top card. He was a mid-card guy, maybe even like an opener guy. He went out there, and he just hit you with the most asinine offense of all time.
Yeah.
When one of his best moves is a bionic elbow off the top rope to the midsection. It wasn't like a macho man, like big rainmaker elbow. He would just literally fall off and hit you in what Gorilla Monsoon would call the breadbasket. That was it. That was it. The guy wasn't. He was good for the time period.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting point with all the social media stuff going back and forth between the old timers and the young guys. Like, you're gonna burn yourselves out in no time. I mean, Greg Valentine is evidence that you can have a long career if you don't put very much out there.
I saw an image of him at a backyard wrestling show. He's still going.
Yeah.
Jerry the King Lawler right now, we have a wrestling organization here in New England called NEW, Northeast Wrestling. He's one of the tag team champions right now.
Lord.
Jerry the King Lawler is a tag team champion in my little area.
I mean, okay, Santino Marella runs
Pretty
the
cool.
gym that runs Destiny and is also part owner of Destiny. Does regular run-ins on that one. But that's about as
Santino's still
old man
good,
as
though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's looking good.
Oh, he looks fantastic. But we also just recently had Hacksaw Jim Duggan in a match.
That's bad.
That's
Yeah.
not. It was. You know what? Though it was mostly a comedy match. Thank God.
It's just him yelling, "Oh!" with a
Yeah.
2x4
Against a
stomping
local
around.
foreign heel.
And like his hairline at this point, it's so far back, it's hard to really call it receding. It's more like retreating.
It's a skullet. It's all bald and then just hair in the back that's real long. It's a skullet.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
Most of the match he spent reaching for the 2x4 while the little cheesy foreign heel was trying to run by. Oh no, he's got the. Yeah, no, it wasn't great. It was kind of sad, but at the same time, the hoe was over. So his hoes were more over than the Godfather's hoes.
I don't know about that. Depends on where you're at.
Yeah.
All right. So I took it upon myself, much to my chagrin, to make an attempt at at the Honky Tonk Man.
You were so excited about this idea when I suggested it,
Yeah.
and so unexcited once you actually started trying to do it.
When I started doing
It was the research.
I had to do the research because I'm a bit of a game designer. I gotta kind of know where I'm going with this, and man, doing the Macho Man research, that was fun. That was amazing.
Absolutely.
This was rough. And I was like, the first match I came across was Honky Tonk Man versus Bam Bam Bigelow. I was like, yes, this is gonna be. What am I watching? What is this?
Because it's Bam Bam Bigelow. He's out there doing cartwheels.
Yeah.
Yeah, what era was that from? Because they both had long careers.
It was the 1987, I think, was the date on the match.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really big
So-
one.
Yikes.
Yeah. All right. So that said, we both kind of went for a 75-point goal for this to make them half of a team at 150 points. I'm sure we would be able to put together some kind of Hart Foundation or Jimmy Hart's guys, whatever. I think we missed the boat on that one, to be honest.
I that partly because they never really had a name. They weren't the Hart
Yeah.
family. That was a different thing.
Yeah. And then,
Yeah,
but oddly enough, Jim the Anvil Neidhart and Bret Hart were part of this stable.
True.
So,
Yeah, they
anyway,
were weird back then where like guys would manage certain, like Bobby Heenan, he was with like Andre the Giant, but then he wasn't with like Fatu and like the Head Shrinkers. and stuff,
Yep.
too,
Yeah,
for a while.
he was with Haku and
That was-
Barbarian.
that was the Heenan
That's right.
family.
Barbarian, yes.
That was a whole
Yeah.
stable.
Yes, it was like a weird. It was weird.
That's
I
another
got it.
thing.
I liked it.
To kind of go
It
back
was
on this.
great, but it was like some of the guys that just didn't mesh together. It was weird.
True.
I feel though that heels with managers was an important part of what made heels back in the day so great. Because if you weren't a mouthpiece like the Warlord, let's say, you had Harvey Whippleman on the mic for you. And there's like Brock Lesnar now has Paul Heyman, but I don't think we have enough heels right now who should be getting that. Keep Sheamus away from the mic and give him somebody else.
Oh, Sheamus is gone. He's done so.
Yeah, he's his body's racked, but Cesaro's
Absolutely.
still kicking, and he did such a good match this weekend.
Yeah, super good.
All right, sorry. So I do this thing where when somebody runs out of the ring a lot, I kind of go with ignores elevated terrain, because there's an elevation change when you go from ring to floor.
He ignores the ropes.
He does ignore the ropes,
He-
but that's
oh God! Don't get started with that, man.
that's
Don't even get me started with that mechanic. That's
We'll come back to that because I think we
We'll-
wanted to talk
yeah.
about it a little bit.
We'll come back to that, but ignoring the ropes comes from the black circle symbol, the nimble power, which is improved movement, ignores hindering terrain, breakaway +2, and a
Yep.
free move of 1 square. So it's like half a sidestep.
Yeah.
But it's better. It's easier to break away with. In addition, I also went with the other new power, the reversal, because when Honky Tonk Man is doing things, he's usually reversing you into a hammerlock.
everything. Hammerlock.
It's another king of the rest hold. So you'll see between the reversal, which he has in the first 4 plays, and then incapacitate towards the end, he's definitely slowing you down.
And he's also nice and slow moving throughout the whole dial. He's either moving 1 or 2 for free.
That's right.
Oh yeah, that's it. He's just limping around.
Staying away, staying out of it. He's not really in there. I gave him the early dial invulnerable because he did stem a bit of an ass kicking from Bam Bam Bigelow. So he survived that.
Yeah,
So I figured
he
that's
likes
2 hits from Bam Bam.
He likes to sell early.
Yeah.
Yo, Bam Bam was a beast. He was the beast of the
Exactly.
East, man.
Um,
Asbury Park, New Jersey.
Yeah. But most of where Honky Tonk Man's coming from is going to be in the traits. So the first one, shake, rattle, and roll, his signature maneuver. It's the most boring. I had to really dig deep to find his finisher. because he never used it.
It's a swinging neck breaker,
It's
basically, but
literally
they
just a
start in an
swinging
inverted
neck
DDT
breaker.
position. Yeah.
And so I just said make a close combat target an adjacent character with an action token, increases damage by +1.
Perfect. Super plan.
It's not super exciting.
It's the people's elbow
Here's
of his time.
Here's where Honky Tonk shines. His manager, the Mouth of the South, and his guitar, because both are very interesting props as part of him. At the beginning of the game, generate a Jimmy Hart bystander and a light object. The light object being the guitar in this case. So a part of the idea was like bring a guitar out of nowhere. Well, Jimmy Hart only brings one guitar. He's not packing a stack of guitars. He's not bringing them out everywhere. But Jimmy Hart and him do bring the guitar, so why not bring the guitar with us? But what does the guitar do? Well, that's interesting that you should ask, because we gave him a guitar shot. If Honky Tonk Man hits an opposing character with an object attack, give that character an action token, kind of representing the guitar breaking over him and getting stuck on him.
Just
All right.
that you put that bang, it just hits you in the head, and it kind of just stays there.
Exactly. And just like,
Beautiful.
what just happened? And, of course, you can't have Honky Tonk making Jimmy Hart without telling you what Jimmy Hart does, which is basically not much, but a lot at the same time. He's got some sidestep because he's always fucking moving. Constantly. I'm not giving him willpower or anything like that. He's not that special. But I did give him a trait, the manager distraction. If Jimmy Hart is KO'd by an attack, give the attacking character an action token. I want you to go back in history, look at your wrestling. Jimmy Hart got his ass kicked a lot, but how did every match where he got his butt kicked end? Right? Jimmy Hart gets knocked out on the apron. Guess what? You just got rolled up for a pin because you're spending time on Jimmy Hart. That was the best way I thought to represent that. It's like, okay, I'm going to kill Jimmy Hart, and now I'm going to have to suffer for it because I should be paying attention to the more important target. But you can't just not pay attention to Jimmy Hart because he's loud. And he's got the loud Mouth of the South power, which gives him ability that gives friendly characters within 3 squares the ability to increase their attack by +1 while making close attacks. And the reason I went with an aura on it was the megaphone. That guy is loud, and his inspiration is coming from a distance. I mean, the match that I saw with him and Macho Man, big crowd, massive audience, they're loud, and I could still hear Jimmy Hart on that megaphone going, "Get him, baby!"
There's only one person in history that has a worse gimmick as a manager than him, and it's Bill Alfonso with that damn whistle in ECW with him and Sabu and Taz.
Yep.
I was just waiting for somebody in like Philadelphia to jump the barricade to attack that guy, because that whistle would go nonstop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, a little taste of rhythm and blues, keeping in the theme of Memphis. What are your thoughts on my nonsense with the Honky Tonk and Jimmy Hart there, Aries?
I mean, it's perfect. I mean, just the Jimmy Hart alone is a great pog to generate the guitar. I mean, you hit it on the head. It's not. I mean, if you do the research on it and you can explain it as to how it coincides with the actual dial, everything about it is perfect, because that's what Honky Tonk Man. What's that? I gotta go out there and do a 15-minute match. Okay, it's gonna be a lot of running, a lot of pulling you down, a lot of hammer locks, a lot of actually not wrestling. So no, it's perfect. I mean, it's probably a better dial than we'll see if we ever actually do see Honky Tonk Man, which we probably won't for some reason.
Well, he's
Yeah.
in the Hall of Fame now, so.
Yeah, I mean, so is China. She got him with DX.
Hey, I would take a China doll too.
Yeah, I would happily take a China dial. I'm getting an Asuka, so I'm happy about that.
Like the WWE guys are so. I mean, this is a good pivot into this particular subject, because the WWE guys, just by nature, are already overpowered. Just their team ability alone it could really change the game in a pretty major way, and I'm interested to see if it does, because what we see in these fantasy dials is a bit of what shall we say, restraint, and I'm not convinced that they're going to show that restraint on anything that needed to pass muster with McMahon and co. And already, like we alluded to it earlier, the fact that you can't make a ranged attack against them is just insane to me, just absurd, and it has the potential to really change the game, I think.
I think it's you can't make a range attack if they're on their first click, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
and they
or
haven't been targeted by another, or sorry, you can't target them if they're on their first click, or they've already been targeted by a range attack this turn.
Yes. So that's
Yeah,
not.
you get one, and only after you've damaged them. And for that matter, I thought they were also immune to it on their orange clicks, but maybe I'm mistaken on that one.
I haven't paid enough attention.
Yeah.
I read some of it, and I
have
was
it
like,
open here.
gross.
It's a bit much.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. I mean, I understand the reasoning behind it. Is their goal was we're making a close combat focused team set.
It is orange click. Yeah.
Yeah.
They can't be a target of ranged attacks or outwit if they're on click number 1, or if they're on an orange click, or if they've already been targeted by a ranged attack this turn.
Yeah.
Protected pulse wave, so you can't even pulse wave them. In fact, not only can you not pulse wave them, but as has been pointed out before, you can have a friendly character have them inside their pulse wave aura, and it's like they're not even there. So it still counts as a single target pulse wave against your opponent because they just ignore the Macho Man. So it's actually better than just not ignoring pulse wave.
Oh yeah, there's a pulse wave coming your way. I'm not here.
Let me tell you something, McMahon. You're not gonna get me, not one bit. No. Yeah. You take that cobra, Jake the Snake, and you stick it in your ass. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm so sad Aries missed the day. We couldn't get that day before WrestleMania to get all of us making dials. That was going to be so fun.
For 60 points, you've got a Macho Man, Randy Savage, who starts with a 19D up close, and you simply cannot shoot him.
Yep.
Period.
He's going to get close.
You also can't outwit him, so you can't get rid of the combat reflexes. So you must deal with that 19, and there's nothing you can do about it. And to me, that's a bit much. You're forced to go and stand next to somebody with flurry. I don't know. That's just him. I don't know what else we're going to see, but I suspect, and also the fact that they're immune.
Just disappear? What just happened?
They can also move for free, right? Oh.
You guys all froze on me for a second. I didn't know what was going on.
Oh, what happened? All right. Am I back?
You're back.
All right. Yeah, I was just ranting. I am excited for the WWE guys, but I already feel like maybe they're jumping the shark just a little bit. We'll see. It's interesting because when we look at the things that are dominating at the moment, it does feel like Kobik and Co. are going to struggle a little bit against a piece that they just can't see. You can still token them, of course, but since that strategy relies so heavily on call-ins, and a lot of the call-ins have a strength at range, then the WWE guys will be an interesting counter for that. The Vulture will still be Vulture, but free move off the top doesn't hurt either.
No, it doesn't.
No. That's going to be one of those ones where you're going to have to use Kobik just to get rid of their WWE team ability, and then be able to target them.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, fair point.
But then again, too, if like on your team, you're like, oh crap, what the hell am I going to give them if I'm running a certain team? Like, all right, like, I don't know. On top of that, too, we didn't even mention this. We're getting another wrestling ring. We're getting, instead of the boxing ring's going to be going out soon, we're getting a wrestling ring. God knows what the hell that's going to do.
And that wrestling ring is just a starter set. Like, everybody's going to have access to that.
Absolutely. I think it's the Mix Max Challenge. It's like... it's two. It's 4 figures, and then because the other one's The Rock and Sock.
Yeah.
Where it's like The Rock, it's Mankind, it's Shawn Michaels, Triple H is in it, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think it's a bunch. It's the usual suspects there.
Yeah. Right.
But the other one is like, it was like Alexa Bliss in some. I think AJ Styles.
AJ Styles, Charlotte.
I want to say
Sasha Banks and non-Demon Finn. That's what it was. Non-Demon Finn,
which
Sasha.
Is weird because Sasha Banks is being pushed out right now.
Well, it's timing, right? Like the design, like.
Yeah, so, I know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, still, it's very like oh, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's also kind of weird to me that they're going to give us a ring that has ropes, and then they're going to have rules that refer to ropes, but they're not talking about the same ropes.
It's 2 different ropes.
But then you know what they're going to do? They're going to have like the rope squares in the boxing ring are going to be hindering terrain, and therefore will be ropes, as opposed to like entering it won't be ropes. Maybe I'm speculating.
Now are the ropes going to be green? Too, so we know.
But then we could take the ropes off, so we don't have to work around them while we're playing in the field.
Ropes, so strange.
I'm equal parts excited, but I also kind of feel a lot of the hesitations that Aries is feeling too. It's like I love wrestlers. I'm going to play with them. That's going to be a thing.
And that's the selling point for a lot of the casual guys.
Yeah.
People who love wrestling will pick these because, especially with there being open, you can see what you're getting.
Yeah.
So people who are wrestling fans who might not even play the games might be like, that's a cool figure. I want to buy it. So I get that part where the appeal is going to be to a bigger crowd and a bigger audience and maybe not just clicks. But then we talked about how we're trying to simplify the game. And then now they're going to get their own pack. We have this rope mechanic where it's like a thesis paper. You're digging through like, all right, so what are ropes? If I'm next to how many ropes, I can do this. I can, oh God, I'm all set. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. No, but you're absolutely right because, like you say, if the idea is to simplify things, having a second pack is the opposite of simplification.
Yeah, because like I want to play with my buddy here. All right, he plays HeroClix. What does that power do? I've never seen that before.
But then it was also ruled too that if you're using Exospecs, if there is WWE on the map, you can choose between the normal standard powers, or you can choose the WWE standard attack and movement powers. Now, which I
wonder. Whether does it actually need to be that there's a WWE person on the map, or is it simply that as soon as WWE is legal, then those powers will be considered part of it?
There was like a big thing.
There was an errata or something, an FAQ about it, and you have to have them on the map for them to become legal to pick their powers, I guess.
Yeah.
Whether it's your opponent or you, I think.
Doesn't that actually seem, again, more complicated? Like it's just making them legal would be complicated enough, but making them situationally legal seems really tricky to me.
Exactly. Now you might just play one super low-costed WWE HeroClix for your team just to be able to open up a whole new pack to your pick of powers.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I can think of a lot of situations where Nimble looks really good.
Yes.
Well, Stun too. Like Stun's great. If you're going to hit them anyway, then why not drop their stats?
Mm-hmm.
Or Reversal.
Yeah, and they're the only ones we've seen, and they're all pretty great. They're the only ones we've seen. They're all pretty great, and they're also all like 2+ sentences long, leading me to wonder how many of these pack powers are going to be like that. Like just maybe not crunchy within themselves, but when you put a lot of them together. The other thing we don't know is just how big a pack it's going to be, mind you. Like
that would be the next point too. Is it might just be 3 powers for each one. You know what I mean? It might be a very limited run of what you can choose from, which I'm kind of hoping, because we kind of got into that because I played Mage Knight when I first started, and then they started to introduce the circle powers and then chests and dungeons, and it was like, and then that game just fell off a cliff and was gone.
That game overcomplicated itself, and also actually made old dials useless, which were 2 of the big death knells of it.
Exactly, which is what I'm hoping we don't do here. I hope we don't open it up to too much, and then it just becomes almost like redundant or over. They tried to simplify it. That's the whole point of dumbing things down on the packs and stuff. And now we're getting to a second pack and stuff. And I'm hoping it's going to work seamlessly, and I'm hoping they're not going to overstretch too much on the WWE pack.
Yeah.
I like your statement, but I'm glad of the fact that we know what we're getting. I wonder whether, what came first, the high cost per figure or the decision to know what you're buying. Like, I wonder whether it was going to be expensive from the get-go, and so by knowing what you're getting, then at least that helps balance it out a little bit, or whether they decided to go with a thing where people knew what they were buying, and thus they felt justified in cranking up the...
I can definitely test that WWE doesn't have a problem with random figures as a whole, because they have had, like, I have these little figurines on my desk that I got in blind packs. They don't mind that. So I think the high cost was the first problem they ran into, and they looked at it and said, okay, well, if we're going to be charging people $8 each for these figures, they got to know what they're getting, and they got to be half decent. Because that's too, when it comes to sales meets design, player the guy who's selling things, like, okay, these have got to sell. How can we sell them if people know what they're getting? Well, I guess they all have to be good, which means and they're like, okay, well, they're all wrestlers. Oh, they're going to be close combat, which means we can't let them get blown out of the water on turn 1. That's a feel bad moment. I just spent $8 on this figure. So I think that's like the game design got stymied a little by the fact that they have to sell these things, and they have to sell these things knowing what they are at $8 a pop.
Now,
and make them competitive amongst a bunch of guys that have range and things like that. So I understand that part. Yeah.
now just for speculations purposes, because WizKids.
Everything I said was speculation too.
Oh no, I mean
Absolutely.
I'm shifting gears a little bit. We know that WizKids obviously does a lot of gaming outside of HeroClix. Do you think that there's any real chance they'll take this license and run with it on the board game setting? Because it feels to me like you could have a pretty great, like I have the Superstar Showdown thing from Gale Force 9. It's pretty fun. I feel like wrestling is the sort of thing where you could come up with some really interesting mechanics and design a really distinct and interesting board game. And even if it's like an expandable board game, like a sort of a halfway between a true collectible game, I think that'd be great. I don't know. Is that something you'd buy into?
Absolutely.
Yep. And
100%.
not only would I buy into it, I think it's part of the plan. When they initially announced it, this is one of those. There's a long period of time early in the year where WizKids was like, "Hey, we got to deal with Magic the Gathering to do this, and this," and this also includes Transformers and My Little Pony. And people not knowing how to read these announcements were like, "Oh, we're gonna get Transformers in HeroClix," and I'm like, "No, that's not gonna happen." They would have said it there. They would have said it the second they said the WWE. They specifically mentioned multiple games, including HeroClix.
Okay.
So,
Hey, I think that would be great.
I'm hoping so.
You got the freedom to do some extra stuff there, and you just be able to I don't know whether it's some sort of, you have a hand of cards in addition to your figures and stuff. I mean, I'm thinking a little bit of the Gale Force 9 game, but I think you're going to take that concept and run with it, and I think you can come up with some cool stuff. I'd be interested to see.
yeah.
I still want maps.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a big thing that I want. Is I would love to see, the Silver Dome map. I would like to see like a Madison Square Garden map. I would like to see
I want to
things
see the
like
Performance Center.
Yes, Performance Center map. Absolutely. Are you a backstage area,
Yeah,
a locker room,
double
things like
sided.
that.
You do like a double-sided map, of
And they
like
need that painting. That painting on one of the walls. You know the one I'm talking about. You both know what I'm
Absolutely.
talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, you can even do like the Chicago street fight between Goldust and Roddy Piper.
Oh,
You
yeah.
could do the back alley streets and
Both
stuff
sides, like
that.
one side's a highway, the other side's a back alley.
Absolutely.
You could also have some fun with special terrain for the stages and stuff. For some of the more famous stages and ramps, like that would be some cool special terrain ideas.
Location bonuses for like Madison Square Garden for like iconic things. When Jimmy, we can't really say Jimmy Snuka because he killed one.
He's scum.
So you would probably just put a location bonus of and make it
Big
allude,
splash.
exactly allude to something, but not
Yeah.
necessarily
Hey,
say him.
you know who jumps off of cages? Jeff Hardy.
Again,
just got
another
arrested.
person who
Yeah.
just got arrested.
Yeah.
Not a good one to put there. Maybe I don't know. You do Piper's Pit, and you can generate 5 coconut special objects.
Who are you gonna hit with those though?
You're right.
Roddy
Snake.
Piper. Anybody who comes into my way. The Bruce the Barber Beefcake, the barber shop with some glass windows. You
Yep.
can come into a glass window.
Yeah, that's
set will
all.
come
That's
with Shawn
already in the
Michaels and Ryan
terrain.
Jannetty, right?
Absolutely. Super kick. That was the first super kick right there.
Yep.
Yeah. Before it was even a finisher.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a great thing.
I mean,
God, I
Ryan
love
Jannetty was just trying to get out of the way of it, jumping out the window, right?
Good lord. That was one of the most brutal super kicks too. He ate that. He took a hell of a bump. He took a great bump for that one.
I
Yeah.
remember watching that live. I was like,
Absolutely.
"No, not the Rockers!"
The one that got me was when they locked the Ultimate Warrior in the casket.
Yeah.
Oh,
It took
God,
like
yeah.
15 minutes to try and get it out.
Yeah.
I was so young. I'm like, he's gonna die.
Do you remember? I was traumatized by when they had Earthquake against Jake, and he kept doing the vertical splash to Damien's bag, and they would
Yeah.
always cut the camera away as if they couldn't show it. And like, when I was a kid, I was just imagining what was going on. I was like, "Oh no, the snake!"
Peter probably had a fit with that one.
I was
Peter would
very
have had a
young.
fit with everything Jake did with that snake.
I was very young at a sleepover when I first started watching wrestling. One of the first events I watched with friends was it was Hillbilly Jim versus Earthquake, and Hillbilly Jim got the upper hand for a little bit, and then all of a sudden Earthquake dropped him like 18 times with his fucking with his thing, and all of a sudden blood started coming out of Hillbilly Jim's mouth. Like, what's going on? Is he
God.
dead?
They really knew how to sell a monster heel there. That Earthquake put the fear in me when I was a kid.
Can you imagine all the special like objects we could have?
Yeah.
The Jim Cornette's tennis racket, Hillbilly Jim's horseshoe.
Yeah. The snake, like every belt,
I
Every belt.
hypothesized with Tom,
the urn.
like you could get a guitar for Honky Tonk Man and Jeff Jarrett. You could get a ladder for the Hardys, the
Yep.
chairs for Edge and Christian, and the table for the Dudleys, and we'll call it like the Dudleys table.
Absolutely. You got the slop bucket.
Yep.
Who was that? That was Phineas and them.
Phineas
Godwins?
and
The
yep,
Godwins. Yep.
Hog and Pig.
Man, there's just so many iconic. I would love to see a Coco Beware where you could generate like bird, like macaw tokens and
Yeah.
stuff.
I mean, do like a weasel suit that gives them immobile.
Anything. It's just
Yeah, there's a lot of design space existing in wrestling, and it's just a matter of getting, like, I know the wrestling fans are going to buy this, and the people who are interested in competitive play find the ones that are really good and going to buy those. And it's just a matter of getting those people who are kind of doubters on it to believe, and it's I think the big problem is there's not enough people that see wrestling as a cartoon like it should be. You
Yeah.
know? So
True, but those who are into buying tiny plastic miniature games are the audience that will take that leap.
yeah,
I think.
yes, gladly.
All right.
Okay.
So I think we're just going to spend the last couple minutes. We've been at it for a little bit, but we did want to hypothesize about Canadian Nationals because it is this Friday, and I'm going to be there, and these guys won't be. But of course, outside looking in, what do you think, Tom? What do you think? We talked a little bit about Kobik, and it's going to be there. So I think it goes without saying. Is there anything you think we're missing that will show up or should show up or?
Well, I mean, I would be interested to see if more people are continuing with Vulture. I know that Emily is, but other than that, then I think there's still a lot of potential there. This is always one of these things where I wonder how many people will be there. That we talked about a lot of people on the show that are coming up that are really have their finger on the pulse of the game, and they're the ones who aren't going to be doing things that just get sort of beaten. But there are also those who are perhaps a little bit less connected to all of the idiosyncrasies of the current state of the game, and you always wonder whether there's going to be anybody following like a solo Black Panther with a couple of Mandarin rings or whatever.
Yeah.
That'll go down hard to a couple, like to the Kobik teams probably, or the Kobik Unseens. But it won't go down hard to much else. And a couple pieces like that or solo Unimines as spoilers in the field could really mess the whole thing up a little bit. I don't think it'll hurt Kobik's reign, but it may disrupt just how pairings go, and then weird things get through when that happens. So that's what I'm thinking. I think there'll be a mix because Canadian Nationals in past has been like that. You've got sort of a lot of the Illuminati type folks who are very much connected to what's going on, and then you've also got the folks who are really good players but maybe aren't as broadly connected, playing things that aren't necessarily the best choice to win, but are a good choice to just mess with the field.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think there's. You hit a lot of the nails on the head there. I think that Cosmic Wakanda is still a potential to get in there. I was looking at some of the other WizKids Opens that we saw another double Gardner team who made a splash. Besides Brian Galley using it at United States Nationals, I think some people will probably run some Alpha Strike teams. I've seen some people flirting with Avengers theme teams with Medusa, possibly running Phil Coulson to get him up there. It's wide. This is going to be the first, major event that we've had since rotation. Yep. So there could be a multitude of things that we haven't even thought of, and that someone goes out there and pilots it and champions it really well and could catch a lot of people off guard. But I think the safe bet you're going to see a lot of people probably playing is the Kobik Trader because it's so far pretty dominant. It's still squishy if you can get out there and get to the Trader ahead of time, but if you still have to roll dice.
doesn't have a lot of weaknesses. Like it has strategies to use against, but
Mhm.
you can't exploit a lot of weaknesses with it, as it were.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, and that said, I do know we Canadians are weird. Somebody's gonna come with something, and we're just gonna be like, "What are you doing?
Yeah,
Why
that's
are
why we
you
don't
playing
win.
that?" And when you guys ask me that question, I just want to say, I don't know. You won't be the first person to ask me.
I still
That's what it is too. Is you have a bunch of people who are probably just going to play stuff that's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, you might see some Swarm X-Men teams. Because I think I saw one that was played with 2 of the new dupes
yeah,
on the team.
love that dude.
I mean, there's still a whole bunch of stuff that just came out that hasn't been fielded yet, and people are still tinkering and tampering with stuff. And all it takes is one tournament like this to open up the field and to try and actually field it against some top tier teams and see how it does. So you might. I'm not saying you might. You will see some goofy teams that you weren't expecting, and they probably will shake up the norm.
Yeah, I hope so. That is my hope for it. Is that it's a diverse enough field that it's unexpected. I mean, easy for me to say, but I'll be rooting for y'all from afar.
All right. We'll try our best to represent you as best we can, Tom. So we're
Do
going to
that.
flip to the questions. Only one has been asked in the Facebook, but if you're watching us live, feel free. Just put in capital letters question in front of your question so we can see it in the chat. I'm going to double check the Discord while I'm at it, too. Doesn't look like anybody's trolling the Metal Lab today. But we had
Cool.
one question from Michael Fedor, our first patron. If you want to join us at patreon.com/MaryVilleClicks, any support is much appreciated. He wanted to know, is Enhancement and Empower an overlooked power set? I don't think it's overlooked as much as it is underrepresented. Because both those powers are really good, but I feel like there's not enough characters that are good with them. You know what I mean? If that makes any matter of sense. Like, there's a lot of cases where I'll take like probability control over enhancement, and that damage power kind of slot is really kind of bogged down with a lot of really good powers that kind of overshadow it. I have in the past used Empower and Enhancement competitively, but they were part of a greater whole. So, what do you think, Tom?
I guess it depends on how you define overlooked. I think if anyone is looking for stat mods on their team, their first thought is Perplex, and maybe that's what Michael's kind of getting at. Is maybe we shouldn't jump straight to Perplex when there may be some good cheap enhancement and Empower out there that we could take greater advantage of, especially with the Alpha Strike teams, the multiple attack teams. Because you look at how far the enhancement goes on the foot elites and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
I think maybe if that's what we mean is overlooked as in it's not what's top of mind when you're thinking my team needs more oomph, then maybe he's right. Maybe we need to examine that a bit more carefully when we're thinking.
What are your thoughts, Aries?
They come in like in spots though, where I mean, even I think I'm trying to think of who ran it. It might have even been you, Tom, where it was Commissioner Gordon. I think had leadership and enhancement, and it made good for Gotham City team. I think George Massell might have also ran it too.
I think he did. Yeah, it wasn't me, but it may have,
He had the Commissioner Gordon paired up with the Green Arrow. So the leadership was pulling tokens off of Green Arrow, but also giving him that stat boost. So and then also had PD. So he's also then dropping someone's defense. So something like that on a figure like that, it's amazing because you're getting that stat buff. You're pulling tokens off a figure that's kind of sluggish when he has one, and then you're also dropping someone's defense. So in that rare case, yes, enhancement is great and outstanding, but we're not seeing it as much in that kind of Swiss Army knife ability where I'm going to choose that over just some guy who's got perplexed because I want to drop a defense. I want to do this. I want to do that. So in rare cases, I think the Barbara Gordon now too from one of the sets, I think she has enhancement and empower. I think it's the Batman the Animated Series set. So
aim red too. Like the aim red goes a long way. For only 20 points, you get both if you're theming it.
Exactly. So I mean, if you're going to try and it's hard if you're going to use Empower to Alpha Strike and drop your Empower guys. It's easy just to have a static Perplex. So you need, in my opinion, you need another beneficial thing for that character. If it's just enhancement or empower, people are going to toss it to the side. In the rare case, like as Commissioner Gordon, it's great because it's 3 different things built into one that helps out a very specific team.
I do just want to add one other thing, is that sometimes those powers help themselves as part of a greater team. One example I saw was there's a team using Overdrive with multiple Batroc the Leapers along with a couple of the Shredders. And I believe it was a mini Shredder that has Empower, along with the Overdrive that has Empower. And Batroc was attacking for free, and as a result, you're getting 4 damage Batrocs attacking 2 to 3, like 1 or 2 times a turn. That was absolute insanity. So it can kind of pull out, but both of those, when you think about what happened there, is Overdrive moved the entire team. Shredder does damage without rolling dice and is also tiny, so it's very, very easy to carry around with the Empower. And that's,
it's like a perfect storm kind of deal.
Exactly.
Where it fits what I want to accomplish perfectly, so I play it. It's it's very few and far between to find those great complementary teams to have that.
I miss the Atom.
I miss the monkey.
All right. Next up, Jay Solomon in the chat. What's up, Jay? Get back to work. Get on here. No, I'm just kidding. Is a Canadian going to win this year? I think we actually kind of covered that one, but is it too much to hope for second? We are on a bit of a second place drought, too.
What? Is it too much to hope for second? Well, who's aiming for second?
I mean,
that's just typical Canadian attitude. This is the second, eh? That'd be a great victory for us.
We'll be on the podium.
In Jay's defense to that comment, we've only had a Canadian in the top 2, the first 2. In the past 3, it's been top 2 U.S. That's something that's kind of been overlooked as well. Like my highest placement was that 3rd place that one year, and that's been my best to date. And I got knocked out in the top 4, so of course. So, from me on, it's been 3rd place has been the highest Canadian.
You gotta wear a Ty Domi jersey, and if at least you lose, you just fight someone.
You know what? Let's carry some hockey pucks, throw them on the table. That'll start a fight.
Absolutely, 100%. 100%.
Play on the Iceberg Lounge.
In
answer to your question, Jay, I believe this will be the year.
I believe in a man named Devin.
I mean, I don't think it'll be, but I believe.
A woman named Emily. I think those 2 are very likely candidates for top 2 Canadians. If you ask me right now, given what I know based on who I've seen, right? So there's a lot of who, what, where, when, hows. I don't know every single Canadian. It's a big country, oddly enough. So we know the ones playing in Ontario. We don't know all the ones playing in Quebec. We don't know, and I know a couple of players in Quebec who are actually really good.
True.
So they may bring their A game as well. Can't misrepresent BC. There is a Canadian living in a U.S. who's coming up here, Miss Patricia Lamb. So Miss, I don't know. So there's a lot of really good Canadians who do have a chance, and it's just from there it's going to be matchups, dice rolls, and proper play.
That's it.
Yeah. So
man.
I'm going to play my best, but I'm a filthy casual, right?
Just a filthy.
That's what all the other podcasters call me, right? Filthy casual.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm not deep enough into the podcast world, I guess.
You're just calling them out for me. That's all you're doing. All right.
That's what I do best, right? Isn't that what I do? I stir the pot up enough to draw up. We need more rivalries.
Yeah.
Especially with you guys. You guys are too damn nice.
We're a nice community.
Sorry. We'll try to be a little less nice, eh?
I'm going to spit in your beer, eh? I'm going to slap you with this maple syrup can.
Whoa there. Don't desecrate the bubbly, eh?
I don't know. Like, again, it's HeroClix needs more. We don't need people to be bullies and to be jerks, but we need more rivalries. There's
a difference between rivalries and
absolutely
and animosity,
I also want to point out, I get the most smack talk from last year's U.S. or Canadian Nationals winner every year. Every year. Nick Peterson year 2. It's like, hey, Jay, what's up? You think a Canadian's going to win? Like, yeah, okay, I get it. Funny. I'm the most famous Canadian HeroClixer. I get it, and I suck.
Well,
right?
hey, Well, I like that's the thing I like about Canadian Nationals to some extent, especially as the years go on and as Americans keep winning, that it does become an oddly World Cup-ish experience. It really does start to feel a little bit like a battle of the and hey, it's why not? It's all good fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys just took the NBA championship. There's no reason you can't, take the Canadian
Yeah, we
national.
finally won in our sport. Let's.
Yeah, exactly.
The sport we made, we couldn't win in.
Hey, we won. We won it in an activity that is not associated with our country, so the same can be said of HeroClix.
Do you guys win in lacrosse a lot, though?
Oh,
I
Toronto
have
Rock has
no
won
idea.
Quite a few championships.
I mean, that is the Canadian national sport, correct?
It is the
Lacrosse.
Canadian national sport. I remember at least of the first 7 or 8 years of the Canadian or National Lacrosse League. I think 5 or 6 of the championships was the Toronto Rock.
Are you kidding? Like our national sport is lacrosse.
Yeah,
it's
you
not.
didn't know that?
It's not
hockey.
curling or something that was
Cur-
like.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are good in curling. I'll say
Oh,
that.
yeah.
My fiance's, surprisingly, it's my fiance's favorite sport. It's
Really?
curling.
And don't forget those
Absolutely.
NHL teams that you guys play with are full of our Canadians there, eh?
Yeah, I mean
Yeah, but
hockey.
they just know not to play in Canada because they don't win.
Yeah,
So they go to Detroit or Boston or any of those games now.
yeah. The weather's the same, but their odds of winning are dramatically higher.
A lot of Russians too. A lot of
Yeah.
Eastern Europeans and stuff like that.
And Swedes are really good.
Swedes, Slovakia, a lot of Ovs, a little Chekhov and Romanov, a lot of Ovs.
Yeah.
All right. Before we head out, we're done for questions. Tom, anything you want to say before we head out?
No, man. Good for everyone who's playing next weekend. Good luck. I hope it's good. I hope that I'd love to see a Canadian win, but more importantly, I just want to see a field full of people playing some cool stuff, enjoying this first big hurrah post rotation. Let's see what happens.
Aries?
Team pushing. Let's bring it back to the East Coast. Let's go, boys. Let's go.
Well, and take a chance. Where's everyone going to find you on the internet, Aries?
You can find me on Facebook at Aries Edge. You can find me on Instagram at Aries Edge as well. I don't do Twitter that often because I'm not that important. That's
Love
for
your
like
card
celebrities.
karaoke.
I do that a lot. And most of the time it's just angry. Like I'm on my way to work. I'm just gonna listen to the most metal thing that I can possibly and just go for
I love
it.
it.
So
It's carry angry.
it can be some mornings. Some mornings are better than others. And especially in the profession that I'm in. So and after that you can any questions you have, you can send them over to the 2 Clicks from KO page as well when we do our podcast as well.
All right.
Gotta throw that in there.
Yep. Oh, of course. Wanted to say thank you to our patrons over patreon.com/MadeWithClicks. As we said earlier, check us out. And if you want to help support us, any valuation goes a long way towards supporting the channel. Also want to say check the link below for questions for the Move and Attack show because we have a 6-hour drive ahead of us to Montreal. And the more questions we have to entertain us, the better. So that myself, Aiden, and Amber can answer even the most nonsensical questions because it's a lot of time to drive. Also want to say thank you to our sponsors over at MajesticCCG.com. Check out the Apex Insiders. $3 a month gets you access to some great articles from some great minds in the game of HeroClix. And guys, time is ticking. Canadian Nationals is coming up this weekend. Get those games in, get some practice in, get better with your team because practice will make your team better. Have a good night, everybody.